According to Thomas Liebhardt, the mime and former student of Etienne Decroux, who himself was a popular French mime actor and theorist, physical theatre is a relatively new term. It refers to a non-traditional theatre type which places emphasis on physical movements rather than having a heavy reliance on text and verbal communication. Although often using words, physical theatre typically does not start with a written text. Rather, it puts the control in the hands of the actors, who thus invent a new way of working. It therefore removes the need for a director in most cases, and instead gives the actor the power to build the story in what is considered to be the dramaturgy of the actor. In fact, in its early stages, the technique of Jacques Lecoq would deliberately avoid using verbal communication and instead rely heavily on the movements of the actors and their bodies in the space around them. German actor and director Ralf Rohke regards the biomechanical organization of our movements in time and space to be miraculous. Commenting on our innate ability to run down a steep stony pathway, he considers this to be proof of our capacity to navigate space through movement being older than our capacity to analyze these movements. With such revelations in mind, he urges actors to move with a heightened awareness, relying not only on sight and hearing to navigate space, but trusting in your entire body to detect and sense your surroundings.
Lecoq trained initially, and this is significant I think, as a sports physiotherapist. He was always very interested in sport, and he used the understandings and the knowledge he had of how men and women run and are athletic, and he drew upon that to inform what he subsequently, over a 40-50 year period, began to develop in terms of movement training.
One of Lecoq's main principles was tout bouge, or everything moves. Lecoq's strong understanding of the human body's capacity to move in relation to time and space paved the way for the creation of acting exercises, which stemmed from different physical actions that could provoke and define emotions. Among these exercises was one that involved the use of masks. During this particular exercise, actors were required to wear a neutral mask which had the primary purpose of concealing their facial expressions. They would then have to derive and present their emotions through body movements and gestures, as opposed to using facial expressions and voice.
Because we work in such a way that's quite empty, these spaces which we have are very empty, and yet very carefully, very delicately sometimes, I think music is, or not just delicately, but music is introduced as a way to sort of announce or to take us into a scene, or to take us out of a scene, or to kind of enhance the quality of the moves or the gestures that we're actually doing at that particular time.
Frantic Assembly began 25 years ago with Scott Graham and Stephen Hoggett. The duo formed the theatre company after meeting at university and discovering that they had mutual interests in different ways of performing theatre.
The thing was, a company called Volcano came in to the university and did a residency with the students in the Drama Society. And I think for both of us, from different perspectives, it was a life-changing experience. I didn't know theatre could be like that. It really did feel like you could smell it and taste it, and it was just, you were inside a film. And we both knew from then on that we'd found something we're both really interested in.
Personally, I'm very, very interested in movement within theatre, and by that I mean how it tells stories, how it helps tell stories.
But the term itself, physical theatre, I tend not to use it. If at all possible, I don't use it, because it's theatre. What we make is theatre, and we just reserve the right to draw on whatever. I don't know, terminology I think inhibits you sometimes, and our lack of training has meant that we've never had to nail our colours to any mast. We've never had to work within a particular school of thought.
The company not only puts on their own productions, but also collaborates with others, contributing to the direction of choreography on stage of other performances, such as The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
There's a very, very simple principle that you should always be thinking about in making choreography, and that is that At any one time, there are like 3 universes, okay? One is the moment before the touch, one is the moment of the touch, and one is the moment after the touch. And they should all be different.
Frantic Assembly believe heavily in the use of building blocks, or activities that form a basis and come together to create a performance. Among these building blocks are the activities of round by through and hymn hands, during which actors work with their partners to collaboratively develop a string of material. These basic exercises then enable actors to experiment with the different range of movements and take risks, providing a basis for creating a whole new performance.
Choreography itself doesn't necessarily possess meaning. It's the context with which that choreography is presented that presents the meaning.
Music is at the heart of much of Frantic's creative process, with many ideas stemming from listening to different tracks and gaining inspiration. Selecting music can be a very personal process though, although it can be tempting to choose a piece that one enjoys listening to. Graham and Hoggett stress the importance of selecting music that is relevant to the emotions being communicated on stage. However, this is not to say that the music cannot contrast the performance. The music choices are not always about harmony, but they must be able to justify themselves in relation to the performance being displayed. Physical theatre has become an increasingly popular tool for performers around the world to explore and express characters on stage. Not only does it present an opportunity to showcase one's emotions more visually, but it also has the ability to communicate complicated relationships between different characters. Through various levels of softness, speed, and sensitivity, actors have the ability to manipulate their body movements to communicate to the audience in ways that non-physical texts don't allow. Accompanied by either complementary or contrasting music, the actor can take control of the performance and completely alter the meaning.